Okay, let's kick off with something probably way too familiar. You're doing all the right things.
Right.
Spent your whole adult life trying to, eat the rainbow, picking the whole grain, salads galore. Maybe you even gave up dessert for like a year. And yet,
Yeah.
somehow, you still feel kind of lousy, sluggish, achy joints, and your stomach feels like, I don't know, a bouncy castle full of stale air. Now, here's the weird part. The really strange idea. What if the answer to finally feeling amazing, light, energetic, what if it meant ditching the salad completely, throwing out the oatmeal, and eating just meat?
Yeah, it sounds pretty wild, doesn't it? Like something out of a diet horror flick for most folks. And look, we absolutely have to acknowledge the big medical worry right up front. It's real. You try this all meat thing, maybe you drop 20 pounds, feel incredible in a month. That short-term win, it's powerful. But the mainstream fear, the warning is, okay, fast forward 20 years. Now you're looking at a, quote, very significant risk. Heart disease, cholesterol problems, cancer.
Right. And that's the massive paradox we're diving into today. This like immediate, almost undeniable success story versus this looming long-term terror. So our mission here is to figure out why. Why does this apparently crazy approach give such an instant health boost?
Okay, let's unpack this. How does it even work?
Well, those short-term results are just so dramatic, aren't they? They really plant seeds of doubt about all those long-term warnings. Critics often say, and maybe there's some truth to it, that advocates use this quick success almost like a playbook. A playbook. Like,
Yeah.
kind of like obscuring the potential future risk.
Right.
You've seen similar things, decades ago in other industries. It's just really hard to convince someone they're doing something dangerous when, they just lost a ton of weight and their chronic pain vanished.
Yeah, that feeling better right now is a huge hurdle for the warnings to overcome. It is, definitely. And the very first thing people notice, usually when they switch to just meat, is losing a lot of water weight, fluid loss. If you've been on a standard modern diet, lots of refined carbs, you are basically carrying around a ton of extra fluid.
So that puffiness, the bloat,
Yeah.
like not all fat.
Not necessarily, no. A lot of it is water retention. So shedding that fluid, it's actually a good sign. It means less inflammation. And the mechanism behind that, really, is cutting out the carbs completely, dropping them to zero, bang. Your body goes into nutritional ketosis, it switches your fuel source. And people often experience like fat loss and mental clarity they just never had before. But that quick weight thing, honestly, that's just scratching the surface.
Okay, here's where it gets really, really interesting for me. Because the claims go way beyond just weight loss, right?
Uh-huh.
If they're talking about fundamental repair. Deep down, in the gut,
Right. And I'd say the most profound change, honestly, is healing the gut lining. It's kind of a sad truth, but the vast majority of people walking around today, they have some gut damage. Could be chronic inflammation, food sensitivities, maybe years of medication. And this all-meat approach seems to heal the gut from, well, a few different angles. Issues like chronic heartburn, that constant bloating. They often clear up really fast.
Okay, but hang on. This flies right in the face of, well, everything. Every health guru, every food pyramid tells us fiber. Plants, feed the good gut bugs.
Yeah, here's where we hit the dogma, right? You're saying that the stuff we're told is absolutely vital. Fiber is actually, if your gut's already inflamed, maybe dangerous.
Yes, that's exactly what the clinical observations suggest.
Yeah.
Anyone who insists you need fiber or plants to heal an already damaged gut, well, I'd argue they haven't really looked at how the injury happens. Think of your inflamed gut lining like an open burn. Seriously.
If you've got that internal irritation, adding rough, insoluble fiber, it's like trying to scrub that burn with sandpaper or, throwing gasoline on a fire. It just makes it worse. More irritation, more discomfort.
So step one is just stop poking the bear. Stop adding the irritant. Let the body's own repair crew finally get to work without being constantly bothered.
Precisely. Removing the fiber is step one, but there's more. Step two is kind of like active house cleaning. Eating meat stimulates bile salts. These pass through the small intestine and act like a natural detergent, clearing out excess bacteria.
So it helps prevent that
Yeah.
SIBO thing, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth.
Exactly. SIBO is a huge driver of chronic bloating and pain for many people. And then thirdly, you're basically starving out the bad guys. Cut out the sugar, cut out the refined grains entirely. You stop feeding the pathogens. The fungus, the yeast, candida, whatever thrives on glucose, you literally starve them. And maybe most importantly, you're flooding the system with the building blocks it needs. The essential amino acids needed to repair that gut lining, and frankly, the whole body. They're way more available, more usable from animal foods than from plants.
That clarifies the mechanism quite a bit. So we've talked about what's added the nutrient density, but let's flip back to the elimination part. If this is basically a super strict elimination diet, what are the main modern villains getting kicked out?
Yeah, good question. We really need to zero in on grains and refined starch. I mean, the standard Western diet is practically built on them. And that refined starch, even the stuff sneakily labeled complex carbohydrate to sound healthy, it spikes your blood sugar way higher, often much faster than plain table sugar. It's a massive physiological trick.
Whoa, hold on. That's a big claim. We always hear sugar, sugar, sugar's the enemy. You're saying a slice of white bread could be functionally worse than a spoonful of sugar.
Functionally. In terms of that immediate blood sugar and insulin slam, yes, the data on that is pretty clear. And those refined grains, they are major players in creating leaky gut.
Leaky gut. Intestinal permeability.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and that's increasingly looking like a root cause, or at least a major contributor, to autoimmune diseases, systemic inflammation, all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
And it's not just the starch itself turning into sugar. There's the whole chemical side of modern agriculture. Most grains grown today are genetically modified, often Roundup ready.
Meaning they can survive being sprayed with glyphosate.
Exactly, so they might carry residues of glyphosate. And here's the kicker. Glyphosate is also patented as an antibiotic, a broad-spectrum one.
An antibiotic. So eating these grains could be like taking tiny doses of antibiotic constantly.
Well, think about what that might do to your gut microbiome over years, decades. It's not a pretty picture for your internal ecosystem.
No, suddenly it makes a lot more sense why someone with really bad gut inflammation might react poorly even to, like, a simple salad. They can't handle the physical irritation from the fiber, and their system is too overwhelmed to deal with the various plant defense chemicals that a healthy gut just handles.
Exactly right. For someone whose system is already on fire, that salad can just add more fuel, both mechanically and chemically.
So let's connect the dots. We started with feeling awful tired, achy, brain fog. How does tackling the gut, ditching the starches, how does that translate into fixing those bigger systemic issues? What's the ripple effect?
Ah, the ripple effect. Yeah, the biggest one is probably insulin resistance. I mean, you could argue it's the health problem of our time. It's linked to type 2 diabetes, PCOS, high blood pressure, so many things. And where does it primarily come from?
Sugars and starches.
Bingo! Constant intake. So you pull out those foundational triggers, and diseases related to insulin going haywire just tend to start, well, improving, sometimes dramatically. And let's hit that constipation point again because it trips people up. Standard advice. Need more fiber.
Right.
Always. Eat more bran, eat more roughage.
Yeah. Yet, anecdotally, you hear story after story. People with severe chronic constipation. They start eating more meat, less fiber, and the problem just resolves completely. Okay, but how? Seriously. If there's no bulk, no fiber, what's pushing things through, doesn't stuff just sit there? This feels like it breaks the laws of physics or something.
It feels like it, but it's about healing, not just bulk. If your gut is super inflamed, the muscles aren't contracting properly. Transit time slows way down because the whole system is irritated, angry. Remove the inflammatory stuff, the gut calms down, and normal muscle function, peristalsis, returns. Plus, there's another angle.
Okay.
When the gut heals and inflammation drops, your ability to absorb vitamin D in the small intestine goes way up. Inflammation shuts that down.
Ah, and vitamin D is crucial for the immune system.
Hugely important. Correcting that deficiency helps rebalance the whole immune response, which is often out of whack when the gut's a mess.
And you mentioned brain fog earlier. How does cutting out refined grains and sugar instantly heal your brain? Is that just feeling better because your stomach isn't churning? Or is there a direct line?
Oh, there's absolutely a direct line. It's the gut-brain axis. It's a real thing. Your gut is packed with nerve endings, makes a huge chunk of your neurotransmitters. When your gut is inflamed, under attack from pathogens maybe, it's sending constant danger signals, inflammatory signals, up to the brain.
Okay.
That chronic, low-level brain inflammation, it often shows up as, feeling emotionally fragile, anxiety, big mood swings, depression. By cutting off the inflammation at the source, starving the bad bugs, you stop those negative signals almost immediately. It's not just a feeling. The actual chemical environment in your brain changes for the better pretty rapidly.
Which brings us right back to that elephant in the room.
Yeah.
The long-term risk. The critics always say, oh my gosh, it's unsustainable. It's this huge, dangerous experiment. We don't know the long-term effects.
Yeah.
Cholesterol,
Yeah.
missing nutrients.
Yeah, that's the classic fear argument, isn't it? But we really have to question the word experiment. This idea that eating mostly animal products is some risky new thing, it kind of ignores, well, all of human history.
You mean like evolution?
Exactly. We're arguably mimicking millions of years of how humans ate. Hunter-gatherers ate a lot of meat, often the whole animal. They survived. They thrived. You could say that was the longest clinical trial in history. What's the real short-term, untested experiment we're running right now?
Oh, Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts, subsidized grains, industrial seed oils. That's the maybe 50, 60-year experiment that seems to be failing pretty spectacularly, judging by public health. And, you know, when people say there's no long-term data on humans, well, sometimes it's just buried or ignored. Back in 1930, there was actually a proper year-long study, Bellevue Medical Hospital. 2 guys ate an exclusively meat diet, fully monitored.
A whole year. What happened? Did their arteries clog instantly?
Nope. The whole point was to track everything. The result: absolutely no negative health effects reported. Blood pressure was fine, kidney function fine, cholesterol profiles stable or improved. They actually felt better at the end of the year than when they started. Lost weight, felt good.
Wow. One study isn't definitive proof, but it's a pretty strong counter-narrative to the immediate panic.
Right. It certainly challenges the idea that it's inherently dangerous long-term.
Okay, so for someone listening who's thinking, all right, this is compelling, maybe worth trying.
Yeah.
What's the practical tip to make it actually healthy long-term, not just like eating bacon for a month?
Right. The key to making this sustainable, truly nourishing, isn't just steak. It's nutrient density. It's embracing the idea of the whole animal. Steak is good, but you also want things like bone broth, collagen from skin, and especially organ meats, liver, heart, kidney. Those are the real nutritional powerhouses.
The superfoods nobody wants to talk about.
Pretty much. And of course, this approach usually includes other high-quality animal foods too. Fish, shellfish, eggs. They all fit to round out the nutrition.
Okay, so let's try to sum up the core argument here, the part that seems hard to refute. This all-meat approach works, and proponents claim it's safe long-term, mainly because of what it removes, right? It forces you to eliminate the big, modern, inflammatory triggers, refined grains, hidden sugars, maybe irritating plant compounds, letting your gut and metabolism finally reset and heal.
That's it in a nutshell. Elimination is arguably the most powerful part. And that, leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to chew on. We've spent decades testing the balanced diet, the one pushed by all the health agencies. We pour, $4.7 trillion into healthcare every year in the U.S. alone. And what's the result? An epidemic of chronic diet-related diseases. Obesity, diabetes, heart disease. So given the history, the evolutionary context, and these undeniable short-term results people are having, who's really running the risky, unsustainable experiment here? You really have to ask yourself, if a diet based on how we ate for millennia offers relief where modern advice keeps failing, what actual evidence would it take for you to overcome that deep-seated fear and try something radically different to get your health back?